Yeah, man. What I
That's
was
hot
saying,
shit
man.
right there,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? So what we gonna do? We gonna do.
We want you to be an activist. And don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
By the Russian people.
Because we talked about this yesterday. Last show.
Have Putin be assassinated?
Yeah.
Do you still stand by your
Yeah,
call?
I hope he'll be taken out one way or the other. I don't care how they take him out. I don't care if we send him to The Hague and try him. I just want him to go. Yes, I'm on record. Please understand, Senator Lindsey Graham, and if John McCain were here, he'd be saying the same thing, I think. It's time for him to go. He's a war criminal. I wish somebody had taken Hitler out in the 30s. So yes, that Vladimir Putin is not a legitimate leader. He is a war criminal. He needs to be dealt with by the Russian people. I'm not asking to invade Russia to take him out. I'm not asking to send American ground forces in Ukraine to fight the Russian army. I am asking the Russian people to rise up and end this reign of terror for you and the world at large.
Do you still stand by your call?
Okay, so here we go. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think those? Wait. Do y'all think those are his? Do y'all think those are his words?
Nope. No.
Me neither. Me either. I think that exactly the whole thing was written.
That's another example, like what we was talking about with DL. In order for him to keep getting his checks, he had to come up and say something so that he can try to make people move or feel some kind of way about this person.
Honestly, he shouldn't be able to get away with saying that, bro, because that's not cool. Because a lot of people feel like the Obama is a war criminal, but
he's not the only one. I mean, he's one that has been mentioned. But did you see what I sent you earlier? What the sanctions that was put on Biden and Hillary?
Yes,
I understand.
I want to play that.
Yeah. I understand, okay, we got an active president, a current president, but why is he picking on Hillary?
Well, that's just them going in that direction. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that, bad blood. You know how I go. Nigga. I don't fuck with you type shit. You can look at all the clips. With Putin and Obama, and any clips where Hillary was there, you could see the tension. Like you could see how he didn't fuck with them.
Bro, just like look, I've been saying, I was at home. I was at my mom's over the weekend, and talking with some of my friends. I said, well, when your government and you see them as corrupt, you got to be careful about when they talk bad about other people, because they might be the opposite, because they're the ones impeding on them doing.
And his words could be said for a number of our leaders, the exact same words. And so the thing is, other countries can be saying that or whatever. So what if another country felt that way and did that to one of our leaders? Then what would that mean? And so then also, what would it mean if see, the thing is, this is reckless. Okay, now the stuff that we be saying on my show and they're getting on my ass talking about I'm reckless, this is reckless. This kind of talking.
But that's the desperation of them trying to complete their agenda. He's stopping them from completing their agenda, whichever one you want to think of that they're trying to complete, whatever you see that they've been going hard on and this, that, and the other. Like somebody might be trying to protect you from some of this stuff. And the same person that they're trying to vilify could be that person, but
It's
You know,
it's so much insanity. It makes my head want to blow up because it's like, in what scenario will a good situation gonna come out of Putin being assassinated or disposed or whatever? Like, look at Libya, look at Iraq, look at Af- uh, Afghanistan. I mean, go down the fucking list. Uh,
everybody, everybody that has tried to do good or that was doing good for their own people and was trying to do good for as many people outside of, like in the world, there was some countries that started going through and trying to stop everything they was doing. And hey, you can get creative. You can go back and look and see who started trouble with those same people, because Gaddafi was trying to do right by people. See what kind of lifestyle those people were living before.
And look at how it is
You
now.
know,
And that's what I'm
eh,
saying. What good will come out of Putin? You can love or hate him. They got a stable as, and they've been growing. A lot of the people they are recovering from their whole damn country breaking apart. And they have bounced back very quickly. The standard of living of the people over there has been steadily rising. They're becoming more and more Europeanized. What benefit would it be? Like, it doesn't make any sense on no metric.
at all. I mean, but there's not nobody like I said. The average person is not really seeing this. They just going with what they hear, and that's enough for them. Oh, that's what. Oh, well, shoot, he's a bad guy. Just let's go on and get rid of him. Let's shoot. Don't let them do that to them people. And shoot, the very people you say protect, they the ones like they would have your head if they. You know what I'm saying? Like, man.
Yeah.
That's why
Me
history
personally,
say, bro.
I see
This
Zelensky
is
and his people bad.
look. This is why history is so important, because this stuff that happened since we've been alive. That if you just look back on, a couple of decades, 2 decades, shoot, really, maybe let's just even three. Let's look back back to the '90s of things that happened in the '90s, and look at things now. Because even if we look at our own country, look what they took away all of these child programs, the boys and girls club, like the different, like things that kids had things to do when they come home from school, because okay, mom and dad's working, but they're not just wandering, wandering up and down the street. But then now they want to talk about these kids that's out here killing up each other. But you took all the resources that kept them from having an idle mind. You know what I'm saying? You had, different things that was going on, when we were younger, shoot, street ball and, all kind of different things. Like I know in my neighborhood, they locked the gates on our basketball court so kids couldn't just go there and shoot ball. And that was the thing that they did for not just exercise, but something to stay out of trouble. But
And I think that they're trying to say that, electronics is the reason for that. But I've seen it happen too, neighborhood after neighborhood, where, you know, uh, community centers or whatever, like those kind of things are no longer there.
yeah, I mean, but like when you take the funding away from these different programs, and like the people in the neighborhood who might have been managing it can't afford to keep it running themselves, but they knew that this was a good thing for the kids. They could come there, they could play chess, checkers, shoot some ball, volleyball. Like they had a place to go and do stuff, hang out with friends in a safe environment, and then as you've taken these things away, and then now you starting to see so much crime and things from these the young people. I mean, what do you think happens? When you take everything away from them that you know allowed
And
them to
they
stay kids.
And they've been on this defunding public programs and public works and public parks and all of that for a long time. And then look at what they do with the bus stops. Y'all see the bus stops? They're taking more and more bus stops away. They take the shelters away. That shit was in the legislation not that long ago. But see, that's again, people don't follow the politics or whatever. And then the way the benches are with the bars on there, because they don't want the homeless people to sleep on the benches, and they're taking the benches away, and they're taking the bus stop shelters away because they're saying that the homeless people are taking advantage of it. But the regular folks that catch the bus, now they don't have a shelter. It be raining sometimes. The wind be
Yeah,
blowing. It be cold, bro. The little shelter around the bus stop
but
is good for everybody, man.
yeah, but then what are they doing? They're like, I mean, because honestly, maybe I'm just too simple of a thinker or whatever, but somebody like the monies that because they're talking about, oh, we're funding the police, we're refunding the police or whatever, but honestly, they don't need any more funding. Some of that money should be going to these programs so that you don't have to have more kids to police.
And that's the
You know what
whole
I'm saying?
idea of defund the police, even though it has the bad slogan of defund the police. I
I,
wish they would
I,
call it something else, but that's what that means. It means that just what you said, they don't need all that money that they're getting, and we know what causes crime. It's poverty. You know what I'm saying? Lack of resources,
they know it.
lack
They
of
know it too.
lack of
They know it too.
social programs, lack of community centers. They know this.
We're talking about people that say follow the science, but they're of totally avoiding the science in every area. Like, I mean, like when you really think about it, if they were following the science, they would know that if when they had these programs, they didn't have as many kids running around the streets and running in and out of you know this place, that place, or really, like, if they got into it with some kid, another kid or whatever, there's somebody here in this civic center that would be able to, hey, come on, look, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Like, a lot of things could be resolved right away, but when all these ideas are being pushed on TV, and like, it's just, they got it all backwards. They think that, okay, now that they've caused the problem of crime because they're taking all these different programs from the kids and their parents, where the same money that they're pushing into police to be there to lock people up, if they would have just kept them in those other programs, we wouldn't have as much of an issue.
And the same thing is happening with the schools. I mean, this is systematic. The way that the funding is getting pulled out of the public schools and driven into these charter schools and private schools, because
Well,
those schools get to choose the curriculum. They can charge people
well,
to get in.
that was one of
It's
the
a
videos you
for
sent me,
profit
right?
model. I don't know, bro. I sent so many videos to you this week.
Yeah, you did. You really hit
My
me up with some
bad.
videos this week.
My
No,
bad, bro. I know I
but no,
fucking
but no. I try to get them all in. But I know there was one where they were really looking at, like, when, like, the way that it was split up as far as, like, who actually gets the funding that they asked for, and there's a group that gets like 40% of what they asked for, and then there's other that might get 15%, and then another that gets 9. So the imbalance of what all these different schools, as if one group of kids deserve to have more funding than the others.
it's so
And
sad, and it's so sad, and because the inner city kids tend to be more ethnic or whatever, or you know what I'm saying, more poorer or whatever.
they're
It's just
all
like how they
kids.
they moved into the
That's
city. They made
yeah.
everybody move into the city, and then the money moved out of the cities, and then they defunded the damn public school, public everything, and the damn uh I don't know. I lost my point. Let me read Doc's comment. He says they're replacing the shelters, but they are adding benches that you can't really lay down on to discourage camping on them. He's talking about those bus stops. And I've been watching them do that around the whole damn city. And I'm glad I don't have to catch the bus because that's not fucking cool, bro. Like, so, okay, you're going to you trying to punish, you're punishing everybody really under the guise of, oh, because of the homeless people, we don't want them to have somewhere to be. So, you know, but no, you're punishing all people who have to catch the bus, everyone. And that's what it is. It's an attack on, you know, the regular average folks, you know. It's and it forcing you to choose a side, like I was saying before. So and it's a class side. So you gotta, and that's the same reason I saw a video too. I don't know if it was one of the ones I sent you, but talking about the dude who this was a historian too. He was like, the grandparent is an immigrant, like America's a nation of immigrants. But as soon as they get over here, they try to make it hard for the next ones to come, even if they're same people. You know what I mean? Whatever group you want to name. And they're like, this is my land. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be offensive.
But well, I get it, and I don't know what to say sometimes because I'm probably a big fault of some of these strikes or whatever. But you know, and I'm trying, but it's just hard for me to hold my tongue sometimes, and you know, like I'm gonna do better, but at the same time, you know, we dealing with some foolery.
And the people need to know. So we gotta find a way to get it to them. So you know we're doing something good if they pressing on us, bro. Cause we're saying shit that ain't nobody saying. And that's why I'm calling this shit journalism. Oh, I made a new clip. Let me play it for y'all, bro. I'm proud of this shit. I played it at the beginning. Let me see where it is. Which one is it? Is it? Oh shit. Fuck it. I can't think of which one I want to play. Because I think the one I really want to play is not here. Yeah, anyways, I made some new transitions.
What is that? Yuggy Ugg or Yug? Yeah,
that's
Yug,
Doc.
I guess.
On one of his accounts. What happened, Doc? Did you get messed over on Facebook? Is that what happened? On the last show, I swear I think they deleted all of your comments off of like 1 second. I look back at the comments and none of your comments were there.
Because he be spitting some truth at him because I mean he goes straight to the source.
I love it. He's our fact checker.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, pull up the damn article, ass nigga. This is Doc. He's on his Twitch account. He says, I don't want to deal with the homeless person camped inside my bus stop. I agree with you, but don't take the shelters to deal with that in a different way. You need to deal with the homeless problem. Why do we have somebody camping in there? They don't have nowhere better to be. What is going on in our city? You know what I'm saying? Why do we have so many homeless? Period.
Well, look. But some of the countries that that you know our government talks down about doesn't have that type of issue like that. Why is that? Are they more humane than the United States?
I think they are. He says, I'm glad I don't have to get at the same bus stop. The guy takes a piss right there at the stop. And I know what you're talking about. Pissy ass, they might take a shit over there. He said, I got hacked on the 12th. They got me banned for 30 days. So that's what happened on Facebook. Yeah, and sometimes the bus stops is nasty. But again, bro, we can't. The attitude of, you know, taking the shelter away, that is not addressing the problem. And that's how, like, our whole medical system is. Like, we instead of, you know, a person got type 2 diabetes from eating potato chips and high cholesterol fried foods and shit all day, we give them a pharmaceutical drug instead of telling them, bruh, stop eating the fucking goddamn fried food and potato chips. It's not going to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not even trying to address the problem. It's really just like benefiting. Because look, if they take those shelters away, that's less money they got to spend on building and maintaining those shelters. That's another fucking money going into somebody's pocket, a private contractor's pocket. They're supposed to clean those.
That's less money that they can give their police to beat us up.
Cause they supposed to clean them holes anyway. I've seen dudes doing that shit. It's a cool ass job. You can get a job and get a contract with the city and go around at nighttime and cause look at downtown, Doc. What about downtown, bro? It's areas that don't have no kind of shelter at all, and it's pissy as fuck. There ain't no coverings or nothing. Niggas just decided to piss over there. You know what I'm saying? And it stinks. You walk through downtown and it fucking stinks. And so, but that's what I'm saying. They have people that come out at nighttime and they power wash that shit. They pretty much got to do that. You know what I'm saying? People are nasty. Humans are, that's how we are. We're pretty messy. We're a messy creature. So, but still, that's just like what I be saying about the poor neighborhoods and the nice neighborhoods. People always be talking about in the hood, niggas just like to throw trash in the ditch. You go in the hood and it's a pile of trash in the ditch. Yes, but that trash been there for fucking 20 years and then built up over 20 years. You go to the nice neighborhood, when you drive through there, you see somebody cleaning that shit up. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. It's not that these people are more messier than those. Those people have somebody that cleans their shit up. That's the reason why their neighborhood isn't, or it'd be full of trash too.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I remember as a kid them coming out with the city trucks with them big ass claws coming through, cleaning out the trash in the ditches and shit like that too. Yeah,
they do in the hood. Like it'd be like a 3 month. Like you could see the disparity. Basically, is what I'm saying.
yeah.
The communities. What happens is the communities have to fund these kind of programs, and in the hood,
I think what it is, Houston is just like, and I'm not discrediting what you're saying, but I think the deal is with Houston is that Houston is so big, and then they're so stretched thin, with their, even though they have the money, but we know they put the money in other places and other things, but
that's bullshit.
they
we
don't
are
have
segregated. We
Y'all
one of
really
the
want
most
to get to the root?
We
Y'all
one of
really
the
wanna
most
get to the root of the
segregated
problem?
cities. We one of the most segregated fucking cities. It's a lot. We are a multicultural city, but we are one of the most segregated cities in the United States, bro. Everybody knows about the zip code, bro. That's the reason why they look at your ID. Your zip code matters a lot.
Yeah. But look, let's get to the heart of the issue, because I mean, you're saying, like, because I mean, a lot of it is really greed, because I mean, yeah, they have these contracts, but then when the contracts come available, like the people who are over the contracts are trying to skim so much off the top to where it's really not, like, can't really find somebody who's willing, that's gonna take that money to do the job that it really takes. Like I feel like that's at the root of it. I mean,
But what about our HOAs? What about all the fucking money we spending at the HOAs in the hood? I bet you those people, because a lot of them people own their houses.
Most of them neighborhoods, them old neighborhoods, like in the Houston area, don't have a HOA.
They don't have HOAs.
No, not them old ass neighborhoods, bro. Like the old, like the
like my mom's neighborhood.
Yeah, they don't have no HOA over there, bro.
I'm
Most of the people over there,
well, I mean,
they don't.
I still
Most
think
of the people over there got their own properties and shit like that. There ain't no HOA, but
it don't matter if you got your own property. HOA don't have nothing to do with you owning your property, bro.
No, what I'm saying, like when you look at the breakdown of the neighborhoods and things of that nature like that, they don't have HOA. Now you go a little bit further past where they live at, and you get up there like around, like, you know what I'm saying, Humble, Tascasita, those neighborhoods like that, those subdivisions, they have HOA and shit like that. But like the older neighborhoods on the north side, they don't have HOAs, and the southwest side and shit like that.
I'm gonna say this because, to me it seems like it's more so the people who own their property usually take more care and, will pick up the trash in areas where people are renting. they may not care so much, especially, because I see some in, like in some neighborhoods, something that blew from their neighbor's house or whatever, blah blah blah. They're gonna pick it up and they're gonna put it in the trash. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think we can't necessarily take it all away from the people, because in a lot of cases it's the people there that's really kind of taking care of it. Because I mean, I know even when I was growing up, like very seldom do you see like a street sweeper or something like that come through, the neighborhood or even in that area.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, there is some responsibility on those people that live there, but at the same time, we have to kind of,
Yeah.
look at some of the
I'm not.
problems that.
Look,
I'm.
look.
That's the narrative, and I'm sorry, and we do have to accept personal responsibility. But look, bro, look at these neighborhoods, bro. They sitting next to a damn train track. They sitting next to a damn nuclear power plant or a gas power plant or some stupid shit. They sitting next to a Budweiser plant. They sitting next to a landfill, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
So
they
the
have
the
those
landfill came
neighborhoods.
after.
I
And
don't.
some cases, there's a couple of landfills that are new that came after, but I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to push that narrative that it's the people, but at the end of the day, bro, like living on the north side, growing up over there, and then working over that way, you know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many times I've seen people take furniture from their fucking house, bro, and put it on the back of a trailer or a truck, and they dumping that shit. Like, you go down
They
Liberty
go to
Road,
the
you go down,
hood
you
and
go no,
dump.
but no, I'm talking about people that live in the hood, like
Man,
people that
people come
live in
to
the
the
hood
hood.
doing.
People come to the hood and dump. It costs money to dump. My dad used to do it. He drove this big truck and like different kinds of like construction site garbage and shit like that. It cost money for them to dump that stuff. So they willing to pay a service. So then, but you actually have to drive to the dump and get all the approved whatever licensed shit to dump whatever materials it is and pay the fee
I
to
mean,
do
we get
that.
dumped.
And but what I'm saying is people go to the hood because that's how they save money. They go to the hood and they dump shit in the ditch like it's a dump site,
Yeah,
and
I mean, but
they don't live there.
that may
Now I've
yeah,
seen
I
stuff
mean
like
that
that
that that may
before.
be a case. Yeah, I mean that may be the case in some aspects too. Like I said, I'm not totally getting away. I'm not giving the city or whatever, which have you, or the county a pass. It's just that, but also, it's the people, it's some of the people as well, because bro, like we stayed in those in the older, look at where Aunt Esther lived at. That was an old black community in the middle of the fucking hood, but that was a nice neighborhood, bro. You know what I'm saying? People helped each other out. Neighbors looked out for one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, it's just, I don't know, bro. There's
It
a
wasn't
there's
that
an
trashy
any
either. I think they
yeah,
had a
there's
HOA. Let me read the
nah,
comments.
it didn't have a HOA, not that neighborhood.
Doc says, because he's more interested in getting drunk and doing drugs than living, he's perfectly healthy and able, just chooses to be a bum. I have to be clear. I have all sympathy and desire to help the homeless, but I will not lift a finger to help a bum, and I cannot begin to help them until they choose to seek help instead of living in the bottle or by the needle. Well, they need help with their drug problem. If they are not community resource, pool, bar court, tennis court, common grounds, parks, trails, then they are generally not be a HOA. Hmm,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
those older neighborhoods don't really have a HOA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I look at where I live at, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a little smaller town. The taxes are a lot higher there. You know what I'm saying? And they have like the city work crews there. The guys that work for the city of League City, they go around. They have like the big trucks, and they go through and they pick up trash and clean up and stuff. you know. But I don't know, bro. I just wonder by it being such a massive ass city, you know, down there in Houston, is it? I don't know, man.
Doc made me think about something because the HOAs, and I've thought about it. The nicer neighborhoods always have really nice ass pools. Like with Ashley, she had a couple of really nice events at like a community centers that was in neighborhoods. And some of these neighborhoods have really nice as places where you can and I don't even know if you have to pay it. Do you pay a deposit and you give it back or whatever? Because if you live in the neighborhood and you schedule it ahead of time, you can use the facilities and shit like that. So she did a couple of
Yeah,
events like that. It was really cool. But I was just thinking, like we was talking about earlier, how we don't have those community centers and shit and places for the kids to go, basketball, pool, table tennis, fucking. But when you think about it, yeah, the nicer neighborhoods have those community centers like that. But you only have access if you live in the neighborhood.
And
yeah,
if
Yeah,
you rent it, or I guess you say rent it or reserve it for a certain period of time. It's not something that's like a day-to-day thing that the kids, really need. You know what I'm saying? If we're discussing the whole
yeah. But
civic center thing.
that's the closest right there. Come to think of it,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
but
you
it's
see how
but it's
that's
private. But
privatized? Yeah,
yeah. So I mean
it's privatized.
that's not the same.
That's the problem.
yeah,
They're privatizing everything that can help the community, including the schools. Like that's the connection.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
let me play Jen Psaki.
Uh-oh.
She has a tough job, bro.
And a
Poor
direct question that
poor
was
chick.
asked. And
Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
Will you be meeting with? Back on this question of labeling Putin a war criminal. This war has now been going on for 3 weeks. So far, the president has declined to use this label. As you know, there is an ongoing sort of formal process before you can use this term. So something must have changed for the president to
They
feel
got
like he would
approval
take
to
this
say
additional
it.
step today.
The powers
What
of
else
that
is
he
be
was
said
answering
y'all
a
could
direct
call him a
question
war
that was
criminal.
asked and responding to what he has seen on television. We have all seen barbaric acts, horrific acts by a foreign dictator in a country that is threatening
So
and
all
taking
of a
the lives
sudden,
of
you can
civilians,
call him a war
impacting
criminal.
hospitals, women who are pregnant, journalists,
Before now,
others,
you couldn't
and
call
I
him
think
that.
he was answering a direct question.
Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
Will you be meeting with? Back on this question of labeling Putin a war
So
criminal.
it goes back to what I was saying. Like these people don't write these words. Somebody else has approved this language.
Man, all of them are scripted, bro.
It's scripted.
Yeah,
This is
they paid
theater.
somebody to ask him that direct question.
You know what I'm saying? Say, bro, it goes deep, man. A lot of y'all don't realize, but like this is real theater going on TV. I mean, of course, there's a lot of stuff that's really happening in real life, but a lot of this stuff is to win over the hearts and minds of the everyday person. So this is to, a concerted effort to, get people on board with what they're trying to do with Putin. And I don't want to go like too deep because we're gonna be shut down. But I'll try to tell y'all what I could tell y'all. Like,
Nah, I get it. I get exactly where you're going from without you even having to even go that far. The same way I've been looking and feel. It's like, this is the thing that pissed me the fuck off is that Putin is such a horrible person, but look at the shit that Zelensky and them are allowing to take place. You know what I'm saying? They're being racial with who they let out of the fucking country across the borders. You know what I'm saying? Who gets to board these trains and
Oh yeah, I
and
wanted
these
to talk
shuttle
about
buses.
that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like to me,
yeah,
you one and the same. It's it may be on a different scale, but it's the same fucking thing, bro. And that's what makes me so mad with the human race is that people want to pick and choose what they think is right or wrong. Like right is right, wrong is wrong, bro. Like it's the
Right,
same. It's the same fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
Well, it's
you
the
know,
idea of what's
but
and it
people
doesn't.
always.
And they, but you know, they always choose their home team to think that they're right, and they, you know, they're not the ones that's pulling the foul moves because you've already been kind of, you know, they've already shifted your mind to think that what they're doing is right, like they're doing everything to protect you or a certain group of people, where this was like conspired, pushed them along to do what he did in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they don't know all the things that they've done, you know, before now that pushed him to say, "Oh, nah, I'm no, I got to bomb this." You know what I'm saying? Like
it just makes me angry.
he just wakes
The-
up one morning. You know what? I think I'm gonna go and just, you know, I
right.
want
They're not giving the people no context. But back to what Deuce is saying, like it just makes me angry because it goes back to the idea of who's human and who's not, or whose life has value and who doesn't. And that's it. And like, and then what do you base that on? Where they came out of their mom's womb? What skin tone they have? You know,
to.
that's what pisses me off.
This shit is
Yeah,
crazy, bro. You know, it's like
and it
it's
should,
you know.
and a lot more people should be pissed off.
Doc says, look up how many world leaders and U.S. politicians have used the phrase "build back better" to try and describe what they want to be the new normal. Yes, Doc, you just touched on something.
Hey,
I saw. Did I send you a video about that or something? Because recently I was just watching something about that. That phrase "build back better," and then they showed
it's
it of the clips of the people around the world saying that shit. It freaked me out because I didn't notice that. I didn't know that before because first time I heard the Build Back Better was with Biden's when he was running for president or whatever, and that's what he was talking about. We're gonna come out with this Build Back
but
Better plan.
yeah, but
Can I ask y'all a question real quick?
what? Because I don't, we didn't send that. I don't know if I sent that to Deuce, but you know, we watched the video. That's the one I told you. Start looking at 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
That that's where you saw where you know you can see different leaders, about 13, 14 different leaders that's saying the exact same thing in their part of the world, because like this is way bigger than what most people think. Like
And they
they're
were
not.
literally saying the same
Hey,
phrase, "Build Back Better," and these were leaders all over the world saying that exact same phrase.
And you can
hey,
go
let me
back
ask you
and you
this
can go
here.
back to the 80s and the late 80s, early 90s, when they was talking about the NWO and how many different people were saying that. Like all, like this is a global thing that they're trying to implement and screw the minds of people, because they have an agenda that they trying to get through, and you know some people just not with it, and that's a part of the problem. That's just one part of it.
Yeah. Well, my thing is like, I think about all of this shit. They say Putin is such a horrible person and this and this and that, and but why aren't they doing anything to the leaders over there, like in Venezuela and shit? Like look at the shit that they doing to their people. You
Well,
know what I'm
Venezuela,
saying?
I would say Venezuela is not getting suffered by their government nearly as much as the Western powers are. Venezuela is kind of a different situation from Russia, but I would say you could say that about Saudi Arabia, though. And that was an article. I might go back to that because they froze my mic and kicked me out when I was reading an article about Saudi Arabia. Because they just executed like 81 people in one day and shit. And they like to execute people who just say things bad about the damn government and shit like that.
No,
Like
it's
so,
people who have a problem with speaking the truth.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Anybody, if you say the truth over there, off with his head. Like they're not playing. So, but that's not a country because we have relationship with Saudi Arabia. That's the reason why, no, don't talk bad about Saudi Arabia, but you could put them in the same boat with Russia and actually way more, because Russia is not on that same level like that with their people.
Why we not hearing about all the stuff that they doing in Palestine?
Palestine, there's another perfect example. Now that one is very similar. Now you could call them war criminals and all of that. Like that is this very similar to what's happening in Russia as far as the way the narrative is. So yes, that one is a good example. Let me read the comments. Doc says, all my life I was taught to question the government and the media and was considered smart for it. Now these days when we need to question them more than ever, I am considered a conspiracy theorist. Exactly. It's flipped.
Well,
Somehow
see, that's the thing. And then say, bro, the one look, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you, I got a headache with arguing with one of my friends because that goes back to our conversations of, they're fact checkers. It's like, dude, yeah, fact checkers gonna say whatever the people who paid them said how they want it to come out. I mean, fact check who the fact checkers are and who paid the fact checkers. Fact check that.
fact check that.
Yeah.
Fucking daylight savings time is gonna go back. They said they're gonna keep daylight savings time now. I'm looking
We
for
had
the fucking.
it is crazy how me and you have some of these conversations and all of a sudden this is something that ends up in the news.
Hey, bro, I was having
I
this
think we be
conversation with
ahead
my
a lot
wife
of.
yesterday,
Go
and
ahead.
she was like, yeah, I like that idea because this here getting dark late, this time just gets away from me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, that all the daylight savings is they tell you to pull your clock back an hour. I'm like, it's the same fucking time. They mind fuck you into thinking that it gets dark early when it actually is the same time. It's like you can't stop time. Time never stops. Time is time. Like,
Still
it's a
24
it's a
hours in a
whole
day.
yeah. I'm like, it's a whole mind fuck. I say if you leave your clock set that hour set to the normal way that it's supposed to be like right now, you'll see that even when everybody else is doing daylight saving, that it still gets dark at 8:30 at night. But they tell you to push your clock back and it's getting dark at 7:30, 7 o'clock. It's the same fucking time. There's no difference. And she's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, it's all a mind fuck. Like time is time. It never it's just it fucks you mentally. Oh, we pulling our clock. Oh man, it's 6:30. It's dark. It's time to go to bed. Fuck it is. It's time to turn up
I'm
at that
out. I
time.
need some. Yeah. If you go to the store, let
Yeah.
me know.
Like it's just I don't know, bro. The
Yeah,
more and more I
man.
hear all of this stuff, and it's like, I was already like I had really toned down a lot of my looking at that type of stuff, but when I started with the podcast, like I feel that it's just that frustration and that anger again. Then it's like I hear people like talking now, and I'm just like, y'all are fucking dumbasses. Just this
And,
is not the
and we're
group for
supposed
me.
to
Well,
be angry, but I mean, and we do need to unplug from the news sometimes. But everybody's supposed to be upset. They want us to. That's how they keep doing this shit. If more people was aware, that's why I do this show. Because if more people was aware of what actually is going on,
But it
they,
goes back to what you're trying to push. You're trying to change the narrative and get people to fucking do the research for themselves. But people are stuck on that fucking blue pill, bro. They want to
well,
believe what they want to believe. They want to do the less as possible
but
and
dudes,
believe whatever they're told. And then we sit back and say, well, these people are poor and they can't afford this. Well, you'll fucking lie because I take my kids to the hood to a fucking funplex to take them to something that I enjoyed as a kid, and I see all of these ghetto kids walking around with $300 fucking shoes on. So don't tell me that people in the hood are just poor when nigga, my kids don't wear $300 shoes. I shop clearance for their asses. You feel me? Like it's
yeah,
just so
well,
much shit
well,
that
making
I
bad
see, bro,
decisions.
and it makes me so angry, bro. And that's why I'm like that's why I kind of push back on what you be saying because it's like Chaka, you giving them too much. We can afford and make a difference in our lives on our own, bro, but we pick and choose what the fuck we want, and
And,
they
that's
keep
that's
feeding
that's
you that
true
bullshit.
to an extent. That's true to an extent. Like I mean, yeah, there can be better decisions made or whatever, But
Because we
before we
have
move
to,
on
bro. Because they don't care. They don't care
to,
about us. And if we don't start making the better decisions for ourselves, they're never gonna start.
So
They're
some more
never gonna
disappointing
hear
news
you.
from Democracy
well, look,
Now!
let me say this before
Aaron Matt
we
take
move
lead.
too far, is that a lot of times when we're looking at the news and you're saying about people researching it, in a lot of cases it don't really take a lot of research. Really, it just takes a little bit of thought and just asking yourself some questions, because when things don't add up, most likely there's some stuff, some information missing.
Right. There's some lies in there.
Yeah.
Let me read the comments. Doc says it was a Middle Eastern logo posted that got me banned. Oh, that makes sense. Follow the money to find out who is the author of the truth. Dun dun dun. Doc says the time change saves billions of dollars a year in fossil fuel and other energy usage by adjusting to the amount of daylight. As inconvenient as it is, when that came up, we'll go back. I don't think so, Doc,
Not at my house.
because
Not at my house.
nah, we're not gonna go back. And I saw a video. They was talking. I might play it, and they were saying there's health impacts to the time change. People have more strokes. People that have cancer die more commonly because your body goes through this shock when we switch. Either when we fall back or fall or jump forward, our body kind of goes through a shock. You know what I mean? Because everybody got a
Well,
job. Most of us got a job. You have to get up at 6 a.m.
well,
To your body, it's not 6 a.m. It's 7.
well, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, because I mean, we all have a circadian rhythm that goes along with the universe, and then when we do things to our mind to this adjustment period, because like people just end up all outcome discombobulated because of this whole idea of the time changing. You've just the connection that you had with the universe is now interrupted and disrupted because of this idea of what time is to you. Like it's really insane. Like not changing it is like probably the best thing that we've done in a while.
Yeah. I gotta say, I agree with you, Pat. I think like we don't do good things often. Doc says I'm an insomniac. It fucks me up for 2 weeks.
Shit. Hey, it helped me sleep better. I don't know why. I guess because I work overnight and have been for so long. It's like when the time goes back, it fucks me up, bro. I can't sleep because in my mind I'm still supposed to be awake. So having it like this where we jump forward and time is more, to me, seems to be more natural. I fall
to
asleep
jump
when I'm
forward,
supposed to.
you have to fall back to get it back right. We just gonna leave it as it is. It starts next year.
It's time to spring forward.
Yeah, it starts next year. So I think we'll still do a fall back, and then the beginning of next year when we're supposed to spring forward, we're gonna stay the same time.
How about that become a holiday whenever they do the whole, if they want to do this whole spring forward fall back type of crap, let's have that whole day off so that we can just sleep.
We can have an adjustment. Yeah.
When we wake up, then okay, oh, all right, okay, cool.
And every job I've ever had, they always send you emails to be like, it's spring forward in the morning. Make sure you be at work on time and shit like that.
Most people miss church and stuff because of how
Man, I used to love that as a kid. We got to miss church because time sprung forward. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we woke up late, y'all. Look, all right, don't worry about it. Look,
you gotta act sad and shit because like, oh, we missed church. Really, you be happy than a motherfucker.
That's funny.
You mean to tell me I ain't gotta listen to Mother Betty get up there when we trying to release and she want to give announcements and hey man, if you don't get your ass from up there, somebody knock this old bitch out.
Oh damn.
I want to play this clip, this Jimmy Dore clip, because he's putting his finger right on the pulse of what the fuck right now. Like, I don't always agree with Jimmy. You know what I mean? And Tim Black don't like Jimmy. They used to be cool, but Tim says, you know, these progressive lefts always want to leave the black agenda or black issues out of their platform. Like, you know, we'll deal with that later. And so Timmy like, nah, I'm black, so that needs to be handled first. So, and I love Tim's argument. So that's where Jimmy and Timmy kind of go in different directions. And like I say, I don't agree with Jimmy all the time. But this show is right on point where I was talking about earlier, the dangers of that stuff. Like those words that are coming out of fucking Lindsey Graham's fat chin. Those words that's coming out of Biden's fucking mouth, that and this war, this you know, no fly zone stuff. Like this is scary stuff, y'all. This ain't something to play with, bro.
No.
Russia ain't no they ain't no baby, bro. Like, however you want to look at them, as good guys or bad guys, okay? Them niggas is the reason why the World War II ended. Okay, y'all niggas need to wake up. I might play a video because I've been studying this shit this week, but I've been looking at the history of Russia and how Russia has been the ones that's crushed. Like I want to say they stopped the Turkish Empire back in the day. And like they tend to, like, whenever it be like ethnic cleansing type of deal, like the Nazi type of shit, it be Russia that be the ones that crush that shit, bro. Historically, they have done it multiple times. So when that's what's kind of happening in Ukraine, it's, you know, it's not Ukraine that Russia is attacking. It's the Nazis that are fucking infested in Ukraine that he's attacking. So anyways, let me play this clip.
And they're being supported by, you already know who.
NATO.
This
which
video.
Is the United States.
See if you can pick up on the irony or the contradiction.
Yeah, I saw this.
The Odessa National Academic Theater Orchestra performing the Ukrainian national anthem during an outdoor concert this weekend called Free Sky, calling for peace and a no-fly zone. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.
So I don't know if you caught it. Did you catch what she said? She said there, that's the Odessa. Now, that was the scene of a slaughter of Jews in the 40s and the early 40s, and also recently Nazis and extreme right-wingers burned people alive inside of a union hall. And when they tried to jump out, they beat them. So that's where Odessa is, and their Odessa choir is singing for free skies, meaning they want a no-fly zone. She said they're singing for peace and a no-fly zone. Now, what's the problem with that, Aaron?
If you want peace, then you cannot also be for a no-fly zone, because a no-fly zone also means World War III, and World War III is unfortunately not conducive with peace.
So when they say a no-fly zone, what they mean is let's start shooting down Russian planes, which that's not call for peace. That's the opposite.
Let me pause that, because this is it right here, okay? This is the mind fuck. This is the mind fuck they are doing to y'all with the media. And you are crying for peace, but you're not crying for peace. You're actually crying for war is what you're crying for. You're pushing for war. They have got y'all.
Unknowingly, because I mean the way the media presents it, because they might offer a solution, but that solution is gonna in turn, because I mean if they do that to Russia, that all of a sudden then if Russia flies, now they shoot down one of their planes, what is Russia gonna do?
They're gonna want to dominate air supremacy, and you see what happened. See, look, okay, this is what I want people to try to understand. Okay, Syria, Y'all remember the pictures of Syria? It was a beautiful city, bruh. And these people, some of them were Christian, some of them were Muslim. They were pretty much a European type of city, bruh. That city was destroyed. That city was pretty much destroyed, bro. Like in the surrounding areas. It was a beautiful, modern city. The whole infrastructures were destroyed, okay? And now, all right, to get y'all to understand why those buildings were destroyed, because you had two strong powers trying to dominate, trying to do air supremacy. Neither side could establish air supremacy in Russia, and that's the reason why, I mean, not Russia, in Syria, and that's the reason why, you know, ultimately Syria pretty much won the war. That's why they don't talk about it, but, you know, they gave up. You know what I'm saying? Syria is still, Assad is still the president. That, you know, Syria is rebuilding and rebounding. But their cities got destroyed. And it was as a result of, because see, Russia was helping Syria. Okay. And then you had the other side, the Western nations, and that's both sides trying to establish air supremacy. As a result, Syria ended up being destroyed. So if we go down this air supremacy road in Ukraine, what do you think is going to happen to Ukraine?
Bye-bye.
So y'all need to think.
And we're not talking about just the military. We're talking about just regular, everyday people that just want to go and get coffee from the coffee shop.
Y'all need to think about what y'all saying. The media is getting y'all on this fucking cry for Ukraine shit. Meanwhile, you're crying for war, which meanwhile is just going to mean more Ukrainians are going to die. They have mind fucked the shit out of you.
Have a call for peace. That's a call for war. We want peace, but how about how we get there? You got to go through some war. You got to start shooting some shit down, right? So peace after we shoot some shit down. And of course, Democracy Now! Repeats it. Isn't that kind of heartbreaking?
Well, it is heartbreaking. You know, I worked there for 10 years, so there's plenty of heartbreak for me when it comes to that direction the show is taken. Now, look, I'm sure what happened here was a producer who doesn't realize what a no-fly zone is just wrote that down and put it in a teleprompter, and that's what Amy was reading. I don't think Amy actually advocates a no-fly zone, but the fact that this was made it to air, it's just funny. It's just such a funny contradiction.
Well,
and of course, it wasn't corrected either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not that I don't know if she endorses a no-fly zone or not.
No, she doesn't.
But the fact that she wouldn't correct that, she wouldn't point out the ridiculousness of them singing for peace and for a no-fly zone.
Go mess with a chick.
Is a letdown. That's to say the least. So now people watching
Jimmy's
that aren't getting the.
But
they're being
supposed
propagandized.
to be independent media. She's not supposed to be
to me,
making a bunch of money.
And I'm biased because I used to work there, and before I worked
the whole
there,
idea of you saying supposed to be.
But to me, Democracy Now! Used to
had to say
represent
that first means something.
The best that U.S. media could be, and that it would constantly expose the manufacturing of consent.
And that's why
now on some key issues, not all of them, but on some key issues, it actually is representative of manufacturing consent because it toes the line. It toes the party line.
Well, we're talking over him. Let me take him back a bit because he's kind of trying to explain that he's saying that it's the pressure of like, you know, it's not the money. It's more of the pressure of wanting to be cool with my friends, wanting to be on the in crowd, not being excluded. Kind of like, you know, the unwritten rules in journalism of like certain things you just don't talk about or certain sides you just have to take and so forth and so on, or otherwise you're going to get ostracized. Let me take it back a little bit. I think that's what he said.
That's happening outside of that building. That's happening on the streets of the United States. Is that people, you know, even some people who do understand better, they're not going to say anything because they become a part of this, you know, this crowd or these cruel people who, you know, are, you know, you're way out there, or you know, like. You a troublemaker or whatever, like.
I think that's what he was saying right here. Let me.
I was such a big fan of it, but to me, Democracy Now! Used to represent the best that U.S. media could be, and that it would constantly expose the manufacturing of consent. Now, on some key issues, not all of them, but on some key issues, it actually is representative of manufacturing consent because it toes the line, it toes the party line, and it does not cross the sound barrier. on issues that it used to actually expose. Instead of challenging propaganda, it often parrots it. And I haven't seen everything it's done about Ukraine.
I hate it,
but
bro. I still watch Democracy Now,
basically
I used to love it.
Almost no or even no mention of all these key issues that are crucial to understanding the war in Ukraine. So, for example, the very fact that this war did not begin with Russia invading, that there's been a war in the Donbass for 8 years of Ukraine with 14,000 people dead. And the U.S. has played a major role in that, shipping weapons, blocking diplomacy. That has not gone covered on Democracy Now, from what I'm told. Also, the dismantling of arms control treaties for the last 20 years, which has further encircled Russia, put U.S. weapon systems inside Poland and Romania. And of course, most critically, and this is something that you're not allowed to mention in U.S. media, is the coup of 2014, which we used to cover back on Democracy Now! When I was there, and did, I think, in such an effective way with guests like Stephen Cohen, who later on was banned from appearing on Democracy Now! But so all this critical context is not being given, and the only way you're allowed to be critical now or question the war in Ukraine is, was it a good idea or not to expand NATO? And yeah, that's an important question to explore, but the issue is so much more than just NATO. It's also about a war in the Donbass region of Ukraine that we've been fueling for 8 years with billions of dollars worth of weapons, and we're continuing to fuel now.
Here's what Glenn Greenwald said. He said, even with the utter collapse of Democracy Now! Into MSNBC neoliberalism, this is the funniest thing I've seen in a while. It was sadly funny. I don't know. That's big balls for Glenn to say that, because they did freeze him out because he was right about Russiagate, and Democracy Now! Manufactured consent for Russiagate, which is actually manufacturing consent for this war right now. So Democracy Now! Is really really doing horrible work.
Back when they covered the white helmets,
so they brought him
that's
back
when I
on
realized that they
about,
were like,
Edward Snowden.
Because everybody was saying that white helmets is
and
fake.
Well, what happened was,
and
that was a
Democracy
panel
Now! Kept
discussion
covering them, and I was
that
like,
was
okay.
like an outside event for a different organization.
Oh, is that what that was?
Re-aired on.
That was when the Syrian thing was happening.
So he wasn't actually
So
invited.
I think that's when Democracy Now! Went in a
So
different
even when
direction.
he came out with his latest book, even after all the great work he did,
they went into
they
what?
still won't. Getting Lula out of prison, they still won't bring him back.
When Democracy Now! Went in a different direction, I think was around the time of the war that was happening in Syria, because it's kind of similar to now, where they don't want to say anything good about Russia because of the Cold War that has been going on forever. And in journalism, the McCarthyism, you can't say anything good about Russia. So back when the Syrian thing was happening, you had these things they call the white helmets, and they were supposed to be like these people who were humanitarians, and they were receiving aid, and they were like helping the Syrian people or whatever. But come to find out, they weren't. They were really the guerrillas, the people who were fighting the war, the people who were causing the problems, basically. Those were the same people that were doing the white helmets. Like, it was a media outlet for that group. So to make them look better or whatever, or to make the West look bad. And a lot of the events were staged, like completely fake. And so, and Democracy Now! Kept covering those videos, and everybody was saying that those videos were fake, because I be having my ears to the street when it comes to this kind of shit. And a lot of outlets were saying this is not real footage, but Democracy Now! Kept fucking covering it and showing the footage as if it was real. And I was like, oh man, like, if I see this shit, then I know they seen it. So what the fuck is going on? And that's the same thing that's happening right now with the Russia, with the Ukraine thing. All the videos, some of the videos we're seeing are fake as fuck. And then you got these big media outlets who are covering these fake ass videos, and they're already exposed. Everybody knows it's not real.
Well, look, I bought a Ukrainian guy some coffee a couple days ago. Might have been over the weekend or something like that. I think I was up in Missouri, and I was like, I gotta ask, what I'm saying, when you meet somebody from somewhere else, you just kind of, especially when you got stuff going on like this, he's like, Ukraine bad. His English was not the greatest, but he's was like pretty much telling me like before all of this, that we've been hearing in the news. It's like Ukraine bad. Like he had to get like it's like him getting out of there because of a lot of stuff that's going on. Because I guess he wouldn't be considered. His got real light skin, but he wouldn't be. He would be considered an other. Like he's not like a part of what like the government gives.
Proper ethnicity.
Yeah. So, and he's like like he had like he's probably like a Russian, but speaks probably better Russian than anything. But for somebody that's from there and he's telling you like in so many words is saying, don't trust what they telling you about Ukraine.
That's the feeling that you got from him from your conversation.
Yeah.
That's the impression you got.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it's always better to get sources. I talked to a lady from Ukraine the other day at work, and she gave me a whole fucking history lesson on that shit. It's so heavy, it's so deep. And that's why I have some videos on that, but I'm not gonna play them today because I don't want to put y'all to sleep. Because they're kind of boring.
I'm not too far from that now.
Because they're kind of boring.
I mean, not because of you. Shoot. Well, you saw my message I sent you.
Yeah, you say. I'm glad you stayed on as long as you did, bro. I guess it kept you in, stimulated for a while.
Bro, this stuff has me crunk. And I gotta calm down because it's like it really bothers me that like more people don't see it. Like I mean, it'll be okay if it was a small percentage of people,
but it's like everybody.
Yeah.
And how can y'all not see it? Ugh, it's so frustrating. I just want to scream. That's why I do this show, because I used to want to walk down the street just screaming at the top of my lungs. Just somebody can ask me what's wrong with you, and I can just explain all this shit.
Say, bro, I could have a conversation. It's like, I have a cousin of mine. We talk all the time, and like it's certain things that she starts like she can see it more in a like the stuff because she listens to the show. Her internet is not that great, so it's real patchy for her. But she listens to it as she can. But it's like she's like, man, I see the world totally different now because it's like, she can actually see some of these things just based on opening your mind to certain things instead of just, being just a receiver and just accepting everything as is given to you. And, to the point of where, okay, now you dissect the things that you hear and, trying to put it together with, things that you've already seen or you lived through or whatever. And yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference. So I know
That's
we're touching
wonderful.
people. I know we're touching people, but I'm just hoping that we can get to more
keep it
people.
going. We just gotta be careful. We can keep it going. We just gotta I don't know. We gotta come up with some damn code words.
Back on.
Yeah.
And you tell me why that is. You tell me what the F is going on over with Democracy Now. You tell me what's wrong with them. What happened?
I'm not there, so I don't know. What I do know is that they've made some terrible editorial decisions on Russiagate. On Syria, they decided to be all of a sudden a pro-dirty war outlet, essentially, freezing out any dissenting voice to the point where in the last appearance on their show, and this is something I'm really is a serious issue for me because he was so important to my intellectual development, and I met him through Democracy Now, and that's Stephen F. Cohen, the late eminent scholar of Russia studies, Princeton, NYU, changed the field of Russian studies. And back in 2014, when the coup happened in Ukraine, while the entire media was manufacturing consent for the Obama-Biden policy of backing a coup in Ukraine and fueling a proxy war, Stephen F. Cohen would come on Democracy Now! And just masterfully correct the record. And his last appearance on DN, so that's where I met him. And we kept in touch over the years. And then when I went on to The Real News, I interviewed him there. And when I went into the Gray Zone, he would still come on. But meanwhile, his last appearance on DN was in April 2017, when he criticized the dirty war on Syria. And after that, for the last 3 years of his life, 3+ years of his life, he was never invited back once. So they froze out the top Russia expert in the U.S., And the person who gave them a lot of credibility for so many years when they were covering Ukraine and Russia, I mean, he was the go-to voice, and he was a voice of sanity. And because he was a voice of sanity on Syria and Russia and Ukraine, because they made an editorial turn, he was frozen out. And that speaks to how powerful our propaganda system was, that because he was demonized and called a Putin apologist and all this stuff, even a top progressive news show that is supposed to be about breaking the sound barrier sold him out too. And that's just a tragedy.
Yeah, the whole Democracy Now! Is a big tragedy. Amy Goodman, and we used to be on the same radio station, KPFK, and they all turned into a bunch of crazy Russiagators, except for a few people. I was one of them, and she led the charge, right? So Pacifica Radio takes their cue from Amy Goodman, and Amy Goodman was giving them shit cues. Her cue was to be just like Rachel Maddow and the military-industrial complex
that
narrative.
Sucks. And she's turning into MSNBC.
Another
she
cold war
really
with Russia,
is.
which is leading to a
And
hot war.
That is a stab.
Still won't tell the truth about Syria. Won't tell. It's just gore. It's just the fact that they aren't embarrassed to all get out that they're being outdone by a pothead comedian in his garage, and that I can at any moment can point to Mike's coverage of Syria as being way better than theirs. They should be humiliated, but of course they're not, because somewhere this has got to do with money. Somewhere.
What are you gonna say?
Well, what I want to tell, at least give somewhat of a secret, because I'm gonna leave soon. But you want to know who's paid for that message that these people are giving? It's real simple. Who's buying up the marketing? Who's bought up the marketing? Budget. Who's giving them the marketing budget? Look at what commercials are being played during those segments. That'll tell you.
They don't play ads on. They don't have ads on Democracy Now! No ads.
None. Not before, not after, none during. You see that on YouTube because you got the paid subscription, like me.
Yeah, I know, but they don't have. I've been watching them for years. They don't. Their show just comes right on. There's no ads on their show. They're supposed to be completely independent. That's why I said where the money is coming from is a mystery.
Yeah, well, it can be found out. But I'm gonna go ahead and take out, bro.
All right, man.
Yeah, I got another long day. But,
all right, man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'll be in tomorrow.
Peace and love. Get you some rest.
For sure. Deuce.
Yes, sir.
Holla at your boy.
Oh yeah, I got you.
And
I'll be up probably tomorrow about 5.
All right. Good time for me.
All right.
All right, y'all. I'm a holla.
All right. Peace.
Peace, bro.
Yeah.
I want to pay a little bit more of this. Jimmy Dore's questions made Matt Taibbi very uncomfortable. He's friends with Amy Goodman. He doesn't want to say anything bad about it, and I get it. And I have a connection too because I've been watching Amy Goodman for so long. So it hurts me to hear this stuff too. So, but it's uncomfortable and painful.
This isn't Amy Goodman getting it wrong. She's not stupid. This is some kind of corruption somewhere happening, and I'd like to know what it is. You don't think it is, Aaron? You just think so? You think she's dumb? I think that's more insulting.
No,
you think she's that dumb that she gets Syria wrong, that she doesn't bring on Glenn Greenwald to talk about Russiagate or Stephen F. Cohen, or she ices you out to talk about Syria because she's dumb?
We have this debate often, Jimmy. I know many people agree with you, but to me,
you think she's dumb?
No, I don't. No, of course not.
So you think she's smart, but she's dumb?
I think we have an incredibly powerful propaganda system in which people subconsciously or consciously get the message that if they go there on certain issues, they're going to be outcast. They're not going to be welcomed into the club. And that is very powerful on people. Look at how many people at The Intercept get it wrong, despite having all the money in the world and working at like an ad-free organization. So there's no advertising pressure. Still, everybody toes the party line. Because some people, I think, are just more concerned with being accepted into mainstream circles and not being called names like we are. I mean, we're constantly called all the names in the world, and they subconsciously, I think, just don't want to be a part of that, and they want acceptance. So that's what I think it is. I've worked with many of the people who are still at DN, and they're not corrupt people.
No,
they're actually very principled. They're not.
I'm talking about Amy Goodman. I'm not talking about the other people. They follow her lead, just like Cenk Uygur. Everybody else except me at the Young Turks went along with Russiagate at the top of their lungs. You don't think anybody else was skeptical? Of course they were, but they weren't going to say anything because they didn't want to lose their job or rock the boat. I didn't give a shit, so I did. But so that's what I think. I don't think everybody at Democracy Now! Is corrupt and taking money. I'm saying there's something wrong with the head, Amy Goodman. There's something wrong with her, and there's something going on that she needs to explain. And the fact that she would ice you out, ice Glenn out, Stephen F. Cohen, and give unbelievable shit coverage and manufacture consent constantly.
I need an explanation.
Needs to be explained.
I agree with you, Jimmy.
I think she's made terrible editorial decisions.
What is going on, Democracy Now!
I just won't do that.
Why?
I'm saying it looks like corruption. I don't have any evidence. I'm saying what would be the... She's not dumb. So that's the whole point.
Jimmy,
I know she's way smarter. And her whole thing,
what is it?
Aaron, used to be that they didn't care who called them names. They told the truth about foreign policy. But all of a sudden, she started caring. Like that's another thing that doesn't make sense. So logic is going. There's nothing logical to her getting this wrong.
People change. People listen to different people. You know, all sorts of things could be going on. And to me, it represents. It's so much more bigger than just one person. It's a broader trend in this country that we've seen through Russiagate. We saw how consent was manufactured, and it got to a lot of people. They used the fear of Trump to launder Cold War chauvinism and militarism, and it worked. That's what Russiagate was. It was a scam, and some of us had the critical thinking skills to see through it. Some of us didn't.
Oh, fuck. I didn't want to play his fucking logo. That shit jumped in on my ass. That might get me later. I have to be careful with that shit. Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Let me read a couple comments. Did I read this one? He says, ever since I started to tune into the solstices, the time change has stopped bothering me, and the time changes are supposed to be at near the solstices. That's an interesting comment. Putin only mentioned advanced weapons when the treat of a no-fly zone was brought up. The threat of a no-fly zone. Exactly. The White House altered the official transcript of KH Speaks. I'll try to find the link. KH, who is that? I saw you send me that link. I might pull that up. I have so much shit I want to cover. We're already at 2.5 hours. Anyways, comments on that. Dudes, you got comments on that video?
Man, it's pretty interesting, and just hearing him dissect it, and I'm sure the other guy was very uncomfortable because this lady, he probably respects her, she's probably done a lot for him in the past. But anyway,
he pretty much launched his career. He launched his career through Democracy Now! Because he used to work there, and that's how he became what he does now. Yeah. Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley.
Looks like we got us another hit.
EUX. I'm dyslexic. The King Chuck ENT DEUX. That's the backup page. Please check us out there. Help us out a lot. Like, share, and subscribe. And hope I don't get in trouble for playing that last video. I probably shouldn't have played that shit. I'm always testing the damn waters, bro. That shit gonna get me.
You are now so